Hey guys, this is Mindy. If you are here because you like indie films or because you want to watch an indie film, don't watch VOX LUX. It's not for you. Okay? Bye. Ouch. Okay, no, come back. Why? Why you may ask? Because it is so dark. There are so many terror elements in this show. Terror not in the form of ghosts or metaphysical objects, but in the form of psychologically scarring and haunting elements. Terror from the war that we are facing in our society. Terror because it asks questions that you don't really think about in your everyday life. And these are not questions that normal pop films ask. I mean, I guess this is what indie films are, isn't it? Yes, it is. No, but the questions that this show triggers is way too deep. And this is definitely not suitable for people who are just looking for happiness in films. This show is definitely not a very happy one. And do you remember Black Swan, where you have almost no idea what's going on half the time? That was me. Having to face mysterious questions that have probably no answers to, and leaving you asking yourself questions again and again, even after the show, just to find out why it was directed that way, why was it shown that way, what is the story about? Well, this show is just like that. And do you remember A Star is Born, which was also released in 2018? Well, this show is quite similar to that, just that it's way darker. Also, don't watch if you're not a fan of Natalie Portman or Jude Law. Okay, that's all. And no, just a bit of spoilers, Natalie Portman goes a little crazy and extreme, and she... Okay, if you're still watching this, it's either you like to spoil things for yourself or because you have watched the show and you want to hear what other people say of this film so that you can have a buddy to talk to about this. I'm your buddy. Talk to me. Comment and tell me what you think about the show. Or you're just looking for opposing opinions so that you can rebut everything I say. Comment and tell me as well. So honestly, I started watching this show because of Natalie Portman and also because she starred in The Black Swan, which kind of drew me in because I kind of like the dark vibes that it had, and also because the trailer of VOX LUX had this line that said prepare to be wild, and I was wow, okay, I want to be wild, so I watched the show. But after watching the show, I don't know about you, but this kind of show always makes me feel scared. And I don't know what I'm scared about. After the shooting scene from the start, I felt this immense fear. I think it's because of the uncertainties that I feel about the character, about what is going to happen to her, or it could be because somehow I kind of know what this film is going to lead to. And I need to say that the cinematography at the start actually adds a kind of black and grayish theme to the show at the beginning, and so you know it's not the kind of show that will bring you bright laughters, which I am a big fan of as well. But yeah, from the start, you know it's not gonna be that happy. And as you watch the show, you sort of know that this is gonna be about self-destruction, especially when Act 2 came up, when Natalie Portman shows up, all crazy. And finally, towards the end, there was glitter, there was vivid bright lights, but the success came from a very dark place to begin with, the trauma. And I mean, she did achieve success, but what did she lose? What did she give up on? Was it worth it? And the thing that differentiates this film from other shows of similar themes is that it deals with violence, it deals with trauma, it deals with the impending pressure that social media places on us. And what I like about this film was how Natalie Portman came out in the second half going all crazy and candid. And she just didn't have a care in the world because her character had been in the industry ever since she was a kid. And she knows how the media works, how pop culture is like, how the business is like. That people consume content at such a fast rate, they just keep wanting new stories, and stories are being told and consumed at such a fast rate that people just don't really care anymore. And yeah, that's what she said in the film as well, and I found that so relatable to today. And it really showed how social media has evolved. We keep wanting to hear new stories, and often the negative ones get the most attention. And when I say crazy, I mean how she went crazy with her manager and yelling at the manager of the restaurant, as well as yelling at the journalist who was interviewing her. And it was such a contrast from that little girl that we saw in Act 1. And I am so sure that if my parents watched this, they would have said that, you see, this is what pop culture, this is what acting, this is what the entertainment business does to you. Don't do drugs. Don't have kids at such a young age. They would definitely say that this lady is just crazy. But I feel like what we often fail to see in this kind of shows and in real life most of the time is that there is always a background story behind actions that people do and their growth, their progress. There's always a backstory behind it. And I feel like empathy is such an important thing to have, because without empathy, it is simply meaningless judgments. And it can get so cruel, so destructive, and it is an endless cycle of judgments that has probably no outcome. And one more thing, I don't know about you guys, but I was really scared at the scene of the shooting. I have never been so scared watching shooting scenes like that. The camera work, filming from behind the actor, actually gives us the perspective of the actor. So when they were filming from behind the shooter, where we could see his teacher, his friends, his classroom, his classmates, I felt like I was being transported into Call of Duty, but much more horrifying and real scenario, because all I could think about was, don't kill these people, don't kill these people, walk away, don't kill these people are innocent. But it did not happen. And even when Celeste tried to negotiate with him that she would stay with him and to let the other people go, it didn't work. He just ended up killing every one of them. It just felt so scary and so real. I'm so glad that this film touched on this issue. They tried to film from the perspective of the shooter as well as the victims. And yeah, overall, despite what I say at the start of the show, I really like this show. Is it powerful? It's not crazy powerful. The messages that connected with me the most, how she dealt with trauma. The thing is, healing is so important today. Mental health is not something that we should just simply shove under the rug and not talk about it because it's embarrassing or because it degrades your status. You need to deal with it, you need to work on it, because trauma, mental health is not something that we should take lightly or just fling it away, because it is very real. It's not something that people just conceive in their head and it would just be gone. It is like an ever-present thing that may come back to haunt you if you simply ignore it. And it can cause serious consequences, breakdowns, and things that no one ever should have to face alone. And that is something I really like about the show. It shows how trauma is so real and how it can escalate into something so scary, so sad, and beautiful. Beautiful because she managed to channel all of it into her performance, her art. Yeah, so this is the end of my review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends about this, why they should or should not watch VOX LUX, and maybe you guys can watch together. And tell me in the comments below, what are your takes on this show? Was it too dark for you? And one more thing, follow me on Instagram and Twitter to see more of me in real life. And stay tuned because I make new videos every Tuesday and Fridays. So stay minty and cheery. Bye bye bye! Really very scared.
Watch the sunset in your eyes. Baby, I want us to act like we are 22 right now.